6'3", 215 senior. Number 10, Kyle Williams, 6 foot 170, will be the quarterback. Number 33, Shanton Fanner, will be the fullback. And alternating at tailback tonight, or running back, will be 22, Billy Gaines, 5'8", 185 senior, putting the ball down on the 40-yard line. The Frederick Bombers holding their helmets up. They have sporting their red uniforms, their red shirts, black pants, as Ryan Ben gets ready to put this game underway. Bombers are ready, and we're ready to play football. There's the kick. Goes off the side of his foot. Taken there at the 35 and takes one step and is down around the 31-yard line.
You bet, Mike. Excellent coverage by the Bombers there. Had a whole host of them rush downfield and make the tackle almost immediately. He picked up.
Senior will be starting at the tailback position. Offset with the fullback to the left. In motion to the right. Handoff to Gaines. Gaines is met after about a 2-yard gain. And that will go to down around the 33, 34-yard line. Bring up a second down, and we'll call it 7, Alan.
You bet, Mike. Pretty good playing there by the Frederick Bombers. They shut the line, closed the line down, shut the holes up. Not much gain on that play.
Here's a player down on the field. We have John over here checking. 52 is Randall Winsip. He's a 210 senior, playing the left guard. Knocked out of him. He's up and walking off the field, so we're glad to see that. First play of the ball game, and that young man is at the 34-yard line, in-line territory, first down. Kyle Williams hands off again to Gaines, right straight up the middle, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage and struggles forward for perhaps a yard before he's able to be brought down by several of the Bombers.
Tell you what, Mike, another good play there by the Bombers defensively.
Just shy of the 35-yard line in Vernon line territory as Kyle Williams comes up. Long count. He looks over the defense. Back to pass. Throws down to the 48-yard line. Complete to number 19, Brandon Favors, as Brandon takes it at the 49 and goes forward for an additional 4 yards down to around the 46-yard line in Bomber territory. Williams had plenty of time from his offensive line and stood there.
Came out, did a good job catching the ball.
The Lions will throw the ball whenever they're not bashful about doing. There's a fumble on the play. Believe the Bombers have it. And I believe number 51, that's Clay Johnson, as they were trying to run an inside reverse to the slot back as he was trying to come around back to the left. It was a bad exchange between him and the quarterback, and the Bombers were all over the ball. It was only Vernon having quite a lot of difficulty last week. The Bombers will take over first down on their own 49-yard line, as Sidney Gaston is the quarterback for the Bombers. Movement in the line, and the play is blown dead. It appeared that unless he was drawn offside, that maybe one of the defensive men jumped ahead of the snap. We're waiting for the officials' flags on both sides of the field. And it appears it is a dead ball foul, and it is 5 yards against the Vernon Lions. So the Vernon Lions having a fumble after they get first down and 5. Kevin Isham and Ryan Ben are in the backfield. Ty Simmons split to the left. Jay Carpenter to the right. Hand off to Kevin Isham as he blasts straight forward. Will be very close to the first down, Alan.
Very good run there, Mike. He just flat busted through the middle of the line and just liked about a yard picking up the first down.
Met there by Royce Ballman, 220 down, and let's call it 1 yard. It's in actuality probably about a foot as Gaston looks over the defense, gets ready to take the snap. Movement again, although there's no flag. For a minute, it looked like the Bombers hesitated, thinking there would be a flag. There was no flag, but it appears that he did gain just enough to get the first down. And indeed, that is the case, as Ryan Ben goes 1 yard ahead, 230, 240, 220 against on that defensive line. This is a much bigger team than the Clinton Red Tornadoes were. Sidney Gaston taking the ball, going around the left side for an option play. Good defensive play by the Vernon Lions as they come up after the pitch and tackle Ryan Ben for about a yard loss.
bet, Mike. You saw a lot of good quickness there out of Vernon's defensive backs. They came up for...
And 11, the ball resting on the 41-yard line in Vernon line territory. As the Bombers get ready, have two receivers to the right. Gaston comes back, throws the ball down to the 30-yard, complete at the 30-yard line. Just inside the 30-yard line, that will be very close to first down, but it probably will be about a yard short by the time they put it down.
You bet. Pass was to Greg Hilburn, Mike. He's the player that didn't get to play last.
Able to convert last time they got in this situation. Ty Simmons goes to the left. Split right. Isham and Ben are in the backfield behind Gaston. There's a handoff to Isham. He rambles straight ahead for, again, keeping those feet moving for about 6 yards. That will be good for the first down. And we're talking about in the area of the 25-yard line. 7:12 left in the first time in Vernon territory with less than 7 minutes to remain in the first quarter. Split receivers to the left, tight end right, as Isham and Ben are there. It's play back to the left as Isham goes around the right side all the way. He will score. And that was a trap play as the backfield went to the left. Isham, came back to the right and had one man to beat, and he raced him to the stick and made it. That's good for a touchdown, and right at a, 25-yard or 20-yard touchdown.
Right at 25 yards, Mike. I tell you what, the play was executed very well. Vernon went forward all the way on the misdirection.
That's one of those situations when you like Vernon, you have a lot of speed. They reacted to it and over-pursued, and it was wide open. William Martin will be doing the extra point as he's about to kick. Jay Carpenter is the holder, and Brandon Phillips is a snap. We have one player who's running onto the field now. There's a snap that kicks up, and it looks good. No, they say it drifted off to the right. We really don't have the angle, but the referee was right under the goalpost, and he says that's no good. And all we can do is agree with him, Alan, but it looked pretty good here.
You can agree with him. From my angle, Mike, it looked like it went through.
So with 6:40. We're back live at Bomber Bowl where the Bombers are ahead 6-0 after missing the extra point, taking the ball on a 51-yard drive. Number 1, Ryan Ben, is set to kick off for the Bombers. Back deep for the Vernon line or Fanner and also Gaines. Looks like the ball is going to be taken by Sean Con Fanner as he comes back up the middle for good yardage, complete to about the 34-yard line where he's tackled by a host of Bombers.
Pretty good pursuit again, Mike, there. The Bombers got down the field, covered well. Vernon tried to run the ball back up the middle. The Bombers closed on
running in the first quarter. The Lions showed that they could move the ball before that turnover. They hand the ball straight to Fanner up the middle, and Fanner goes ahead for around 2 to 3 yards. We'll see where they spot that ball. He's met by the interior, looks like Martin. Who else did you see
number
in there?
63, William Martin.
Also maybe Blake Bolton, and also Cheyenne Clark in on that, as we're doing a good job on team defense. Ball's pitched back to Gaines in the backfield. Has some running room. Going to 50, 45, 40, 35. Cuts back at the 30, at the 25, 20. One man to beat. And looks like Clarence Allen is able to get him down at the 5-yard line. That goes to show you how elusive that young man is. That's number 22, Billy Gaines, as he weaves in and out of the Bombers and traffic. And there was very good blocking on that, Allen.
Yes, it was, Mike. They moved the ball around this side to make that tackle.
Kyle Williams sets the offense. And hand off to number 18. He is going to be knocked short and hit right at the 5-yard line.
Hey, what, Mike? He might have lost a yard there.
And we still don't have the number for 18 or the name for number 18. We'll try to get that for you. Apologize to those people from Vernon that might be listening. The kind of scrimmage brings up a 2nd down and 5 as the Lions are threatening in the first quarter. Fanner in motion as Gaines goes around the right side. He's hit about the 3, falls forward. He will be short. Looks like they may put it down around the 2-yard line as in getting his first playing time this evening. Williams comes up. He's going to pass to the corner of the end zone and turns around. There is a flag. Looks like the pass was intended for 19 Brandon Favors, and there was a little jostling going on between Favors and the defensive back out there, and the referee turns around. Allen didn't look like to me that he was going to have a chance to catch the ball.
The ball was way overthrown. They just kind of bumped a little. The referee picked it up and called pass interference there.
That will be a pass interference penalty about a yard forward. It's remaining 3rd down. There's a fumble on the play. I believe that the quarterback has the ball back. Williams pulled out a little bit early from below the center, and the ball goes straight down. And I believe unless they've got we have 1st down on the clock, and we have now they change it to 1st down on the sideline. Should be 2nd down now and about 1.
Mike, Bombers holding very steadily on defense here, doing a good job up to this point.
Williams takes the ball, pitches to number 18, and he is stopped short on a great defensive stand by the Bombers as they came up and met him right at the line of scrimmage. He only needed 1.5 yards, but he did not get it.
I'll tell you what, Mike, the line didn't give up there. Clay Johnson came up from linebacker, hit him right in the mouth, and I'll tell you what, right there he stopped.
Shea, marker on the right across field to 2nd, but I believe it's 3rd down, and let's call it 1.5. Handoff again straight up the middle. He will score. And that's number 18 for the Vernon Lions, who is able to go outside finally and take the ball. That's a shame on the pass interference penalty.
Yes,
the Bombers would have the turnover there, I believe.
Mike, there's a good play call. They faked to the inside. The Bombers went for the fake and
attempt the extra point. Trying to kick that will be number 88, and that's Richard Gooch. And looks like that's off, but they say it's good. Evidently, our perspective is not in very good shape here, Alan,
no,
because that looks
what.
like that Vernon Lions will take a lead, 7-6. You're listening to KYBE 95.9. We'll be back in 10 as Terrence Gaines, the brother of Billy Gaines, who has been wearing 23. We don't see a 23 out there, so we'll give Terrence Gaines the credit on that. He's a 5'8 sophomore.
Mike, the kickoff return team is number 85, John Mitchell, 72, Jeremy Roberts, Clay Johnson, number 51, James Charles, 66, Michael Messner, 62. Back deep is Cheyenne Clark, number 33, Brian Chandler, number 14, 89, Clarence Allen, number 30, Tony Wiley, number 3, Blake Bolton, and number 1, back deep, Ryan Ben.
Gooch is ready to approach the ball at the 40. Gooch's kick is going to be taken short by Ryan Ben at the 30, or at the 20. He's outside to the 25, to the 30, and knocked out of bounds around the 34-yard line as Ryan Ben takes the ball about his 10 and negotiates down the right side to right at the 34-yard line.
Pretty nice return, Mike. Had some good blocking set up then by the Bombers.
So the Vernon Lions do have good quickness as we match up. Ben goes into the slot. We have a double slot with Isham in the backfield. Gaston will be the quarterback still. He hands off to Isham and tried to pull that ball back out and go around the left side, but Isham clamped down on it, and it will be no gain as he stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and when they put it down, they're going to give him maybe, let's call it a yard as they finally spot it there. So comes to the left, and Hilburn. That's Hilburn over on the left side. Again, we have a lone back in the backfield. That's Kevin Isham. Gaston goes back to pass, throws down to the 50-yard line. He's still on his feet. Makes a cut at the 45, at the 40. That's Marshall down to the 39-yard line. As Marshall was able to catch that about the 50-yard line, 49-yard line in traffic across the middle, and then made a fine play down to the just inside the 39-yard line in Vernon Line territory.
Mike, excellent catch then by Jason Marshall, number 34. He just made the cut across the middle, caught the ball, and made a good little effort.
32-yard pass play, as our statistician John Stevens says. We have the same type of the formation now, double slot, with Kevin Isham in the backfield. Gaston back to pass, throws complete finally to Clarence Allen. And Clarence Allen juggled the ball from about the 35-yard line to the 30, and then finally around the 25 as he was falling down, was able to pull 23-yard line. Again, same formation with one back in the backfield, double slot. Allen goes in motion as Gaston gets ready to take the snap. Gaston rolling to his offensive left, throws across the middle. Oh, almost intercepted as the number 10 looks like, and that's Kyle Williams for Vernon, almost stepped in front of the receiver down there and picked that off, but it falls to the ground. But, folks, there's a lot of action going on here in the Bomber Bowl, and I hope my voice will not give out before we get through, but we have balls flying everywhere, a lot of good runs. This is a good ball game. Trip receivers to the left. Gaston fakes. He's under pressure. He is going to be sacked at the 30-yard line. Had Sidney had just another moment, he might have been able to get rid of the ball as the Bombers had trip receivers, three receivers out to the left, but he was sacked right back at the 30-yard line.
Looks like he had the men open, Mike, just had a little
third down, and we'll call it 17 yards. Ball resting just at the 30-yard line. Bombers do not have all their personnel on the field. They will take a timeout. You're listening to KYB 95.9. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Ball at the 30-yard line, and they'll be facing a 3rd and 17 in Vernon line territory. Bombers have gone to a trip formation. That's 3 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right, and the lone setback is Isham. Handoff back to the right as Ryan Bean comes back on a reverse play and is not able to get the corner turned and is pushed out of bounds very close to the line of scrimmage. We'll give him 1 yard line, or 1 yard, as they
didn't fool him a bit. They were right there waiting on him.
Vernon Lions stayed home that time. They didn't last time, and Coach Jones was trying to check them out again. This will bring up a 4th down and 13 as Gaston goes back, trying to throw the ball. It is incomplete. They say he caught it. Thought for a minute that he might have trapped it, but I believe it will be short as he needed to go down to about the 15, and that plays good to the 20 or 21, so the ball will be turned over to the Vernon Lions. It's the Vernon Lions 7, the Frederick Bombers 6. We'll be back in
Bomber football for 1994. Dads would like to thank head coach Ed Jones and the entire coaching staff for all of their hard work week after week. From all of the gang at Dad's Convenience Store, we did it. We done it. And now, let's do it again. Dad's Convenience Store, 516 South Main in Frederick.
Bomber Bowl, one play was just run, and that was good for a 2-yard gain by Gaines, and bring up a 2nd and 8 as they have the ball at the 30-35 as Gaines goes ahead for the 1st down. And the young man, 5'8", 185, is hard to bring down as he goes ahead for about 8, 10, 12 yards.
Made the tackles in.
Game moving very fast. We apologize for missing one play on commercial. It will be Kyle Williams taking the snap at quarterback. Mix up in the backfield as Williams runs into Gaines, and then Gaines runs into about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Bombers.
Mike, that one didn't fool anybody. They were all right there waiting on him when he got the ball.
That will be, let's give him a yard loss now as Williams comes up to set the line. Spanner, the fullback. Gaines is a tailback. Williams brings the ball down, trying to pass, and he is hit and knocked down. The ball is loose, but it goes out of bounds as Williams negotiates back to the 35-yard line. Fumbles the ball out of bounds at that point. Referee said it was down anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Mike, good coverage then by the defense.
6:10:04 in the 2nd quarter. Very important down for the Bombers, 3rd and 11, as Williams takes a long count, looking over the defense, going back to pass, fakes to draw. Looks like it's going to be a screen. He takes the ball down and is hit in the backfield, and he will be stopped short. Looks like about a 2-yard loss by Bolton, and also number 79. Back deep for the Bombers will be Ben, and I believe that's Bolton. There's good snap. The punt is an end-over-end kick as the Bombers need to get away from the ball. It will be short and be downed right at the 46-yard line. That will bring up a 1st and 10 from the Bombers on 46, and we will keep it here as the referees are running this game off very quickly, Alan.
Yes, they are. A 23-yard punt. The Bombers take over with very good field position. Let's see what they can do with the ball right here.
We have 2 radio stations going tonight, and normally they'll give a minute timeout, but they're taking about 20-minute time or 20-second timeouts. So we kept it here, and so we can get you the play. Gaston looking over the defense, hands off straight to Ryan Ben, straight up the middle. The Vernon Lions very tenacious up the middle there, as they have some good size in there, and he's met by number 70 for the Vernon Lions. That's Roy.
Your sponsors of the night's game, how much you appreciating being able to listen to the game on the radio.
Bombers go to a tight end to the left. Simmons comes in motion to the left. Gaston takes a snap. On the option play, keeps the ball. Gaston is hit immediately as he tries to turn the corner. And again, the quickness of that Vernon defense, it looked like to me that Gaston made the right move and had some running room, and then it just shut down on him.
I'll tell you what, Mike, he did.
Teams here this evening, as very hard for each one of the teams to run on each other, and they've been resorting to the pass. Double slot formation, one lone in back in the backfield. Gaston goes back to pass, throws across the middle, complete to Clarence Allen, and that appears to be good enough for the 1st down, as he gained about 8 or 9 on that. And that was a play where he went about 2 yards past the sticks for the 1st down, and turned out and was able to receive the ball. Spot on the ball, he didn't get much out of the forward progress. But nevertheless, that is a 1st down, ball resting at about the 43-yard line as Gaston takes a snap, runs the option play to the left, and he is met immediately as he pitches back to Ryan Ben, and Ryan Ben is met by the cornerback for about a 5-yard loss.
Mike, I believe Vernon has done their homework on the option. Well, it's just not worked at all. They are so quick on the outside. They come up, they pursue well, and they've shut us down up to this point.
If there's anything going to be made on the option, probably Gaston's going to have to do it all himself, as they are covering the pitch man very well. Brings up a 2nd down, we'll call it 15, as Gaston goes back to pass, throws one down the middle, and it's incomplete as it was broken up by Williams from the Vernon Lions at about the 25-yard line. Ryan Ben was streaking down the middle, appeared for a second that he might be able to catch the ball off the rebound, and he is shaken up. There is a flag on the play. Ryan walking back to the huddle very gingerly, like perhaps that he was hit very hard. Don't know if he hit his head on the ground. There is a flag, and it is 15 for the Bombers now as they come to another very important 3rd down play. A ball resting just inside, and the Bombers have a man trot on, and Coach Jones says, let's call a timeout and talk this over. A little confusion as the Bombers trying to get a play in didn't have the personnel to run it, so they call a timeout.
Shopping.
47-yard line. It's 3rd and about 14, 6:54. Bombers trailing 7-6. Gaston has the personnel he wants now. Dropping straight back to pass, goes across the middle, good to number 11, and that appears that's going to be good for the 1st down as he catches the ball at the 30-yard line, and I believe that's number 11, Greg Hilburn.
Tell you what, excellent route run by Greg Hilburn then, Mike. He just
Have the ball down to the 30-yard line in Vernon line territory. 1st and 10, 6:30 left in the 2nd quarter as time begins to be a factor. Gaston takes a snap, hands off straight up the middle to Ryan Ben. Again, the Vernon Lions a little bit bigger than Clinton was in that middle, and Ryan struggles ahead for looks like it could be about a 2-yard gain as they finally put it down.
Tell you what, Mike, Vernon's doing a...
Tracy Montez 240 and Royce Bauman 220 in there, so there's a lot of beef for the Frederick Bombers to try to move. Split back off in the backfield. There's Gaston as he takes the ball on the option down to the 25, 20, 15, down to the 10-yard line. As we said a minute ago, the Vernon Lions with those cornerbacks doing a real good job on the pitch man. And there you have it. As
35, Ty Simmons did an excellent job of blocking for Sydney over there on the right side of the field.
Split backs as Simmons comes to the left in motion. Hand off to Isham as he goes back on the power play, trying to go back to the right from the left. And he's met at the line of scrimmage. We'll give him 1 yard, and that will bring up a 3rd down and 9. And threatening here with 4:43 in the first quarter. And they are trailing 7-6 against this very, very good Vernon Lion team. Gaston takes a snap and pitches back to Ryan Ben. He is stumbling as he tries to get to the end zone, but he is going to be short, and we'll see where they mark it. Be very close to the, we'll say that, well, they're saying now that his knee touched around the 2-yard line. We thought it might have been half. It is possible that the Bombers could get a 1st down just shy of the goal line. 3rd and 2 with 3:56. Gaston looks over the defense, and there is a flag on the play, as it looked like there was movement in the line prior to the snap. We kind of caught our breath for a minute, Alan, when he threw that ball out there and everyone stopped.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm not sure what happened then, but it did make my heart flutter for a moment.
That will be motion, illegal procedure, and that will be a very costly penalty as the Bombers had the ball 3rd and 1.5 down around the 2-yard line, and
field up until this point.
We'll certainly hope that that won't stop this drive as Brandon Phillips turns around to Gaston, and they're ready to start the play now. Receivers right and left, split backfield. Gaston tries a pass. He's going to be sacked at the 15-yard line. Gaston, in all fairness to the offensive line, it looked like it was going to be a slant in, but the defensive man for Vernon was right there, and he had to eat the ball and take the loss.
Yes, did, Mike. Once again, just like you said earlier in the game, Vernon has got a lot of size up front. It's just hard to hold them out for very long.
And the ball resting around the 13-yard line brings up a 4th and 13 for the Frederick Bombers as they had the ball around the 2 and had a penalty. 4th and 13 for the Bombers. We'll see if they convert. Gaston goes back, throws toward the end zone. Hilburn turns and tries to get in the end zone. He is short of the end zone, but remember, we said it was possible that there was about a foot between the yard marker and the end zone, and he looks very close. Nope, they say that he is about a foot short of getting into the end zone, and or toward the end zone, ball resting about the 1.5 as the Vernon Lions take over. Hand off to Gaines straight up the middle. He's met immediately on the line of scrimmage and struggles forward for what looks like about 2 yards.
Mike, Bombers doing a good job defensively.
2:16. Lions again have struck from long distance on a couple of plays. Hand off to Gaines as he struggles forward, stays on his feet. Young man has very good balance as he was hit at the line of scrimmage and looked like he was going to go down and then struggled out, and he will be shy of the 1st down.
Excellent job by Vernon.
With 1:35 in the second quarter, Vernon Lions lead 7-6 as they have they do not have the right personnel in the ball game, and they call a timeout. With 1:30 left in the second quarter, we'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to Lions have 3rd and about 4 from their own 9-yard line at the closing point of the second quarter. Back to pass is Williams. He throws a deep pass, a man open, and number 30 was wide open at the 35-yard line, and with a diving hand out in front of him, Kevin Isham knocks the ball down at the last second, and everyone in the Frederick crowd took a deep, deep breath.
Boy, I
was
will
behind
tell
everything, and then on the run through that ball about 35 yards in the air. Good effort by him, and it almost turned out to be a very, very big completion. There is another timeout as the Vernon Lions don't have the personnel for the punting team, and we're going to keep it right here with my memory. I've never seen this big a crowd, at the Frederick Bomber Bowl.
I don't believe I have either, Mike, but like you said, you're quite a bit older than I am.
The Vernon Lions, there's a snap for the punt. The punt is off, and it's going to be taken, hits one of the Vernon Lions in the back as Blake Bolton went up to take it. That will be a penalty because as the ball was about to come down, it hit one of the offensive linemen running down the field after the ball had gone to about 30, 35 yards. And there is a flag on the play. As Blake Bolton was coming up to take the catch, had not signaled the fair catch, but it hit one of the Vernon Lions square between the numbers in the back end. And you can't do that, Alan. You got to let him catch the ball. Can't block it.
No, Mike, you've got to give the boy the opportunity to field the ball, and the short kick just caught the Vernon player off guard that time, hit him right in the back of the numbers.
And as we say that, they are talking to the Vernon players, and we certainly hope that they're not giving them the option, but telling them what they did wrong. And there'll be interference on the being able to catch the punt. So it will be Frederick ball, and the Frederick Bombers will have very good field position, but time is a factor now. 1:16 left in the second quarter as the Bombers trail 7-6 here in this contest. The officials still standing there talking. They've already signaled the penalty, and I guess they're trying to figure out now where to move the ball. I don't know.
I don't understand, Mike. They did signal the penalty, but yet the ball's not been moved.
Now they're talking after they have apparently decided what to call. They're now talking to the Frederick captain, and one of the officials is coming over to talk to Coach Jones. It will be Frederick's ball. We know that.
Probably came over to see if Coach Jones had a Frederick decline.
Frederick declined the penalty. Otherwise, they would have had, I assume, would have had to have kicked over. So Sidney Gaston now, as the ball's sitting, there's 1:16 in the second quarter. Sidney goes back to pass at his 40, throws a deep pass down the middle, and Ryan Ben is there, and it is incomplete. Hesitated for just a second because the defensive man hit it up in the air, and Ryan Ben appeared like he might catch it on the rebound.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I really thought he had it. The Vernon player tipped it up in the air. Ryan stayed with it, just could not quite get his hands on it.
2nd and 10, and there's 1:08 left in the second quarter. Bombers trailing 7-6. Kevin Isham, the lone back in the backfield as Allen comes in motion. Gaston goes back to pass. Throws across the middle to Ryan Ben at the 15, down close to the 10-yard line. Looks like it will be between the 10 and 11 if they spot it where the official has his foot on the out-of-bounds marker. So, again, it will be a 1st and 10. And he calmly stood in the pocket and threw the ball to Ryan Ben, cutting down the sideline. Brings up a 1st and 10, 1:02 left in the second quarter. Handoff. No, they're running the option. Gaston goes up and through for the touchdown.
Tell you what, Mike, excellent play call there. The Vernon defensive players went for the pitch man that time. Sidney holds the ball, turns it upfield for the score.
Again, we talked about earlier that they have the pitch man covered very well, and that was a good fake to Isham as he took the ball and not only faked us out, but about 7 of the Vernon Lions tackled him, and Gaston took the ball around the left and ran over one guy and made it into the end zone, and the Bombers jump back out in the lead 12-7 as we're about to attempt the extra point. Looks like the Bombers will take a timeout and possibly go for 2 to make up for that extra point that they missed. 95.9 Bomber football. So the Bombers only had 6, and now they're trying to get that point back as they're breaking the huddle, coming to the line, and 56 seconds left in the second quarter. Bombers trying this extra point conversion and going for 2. They have trip receivers to the left. Lone setback is Isham. Gaston takes the snap, rolls to his left, looks, and throws right at the goal line, and it is good. Complete to Clarence Allen right on the goal line. The referee says he is in the end zone. He's broken the plane, and the Bombers get the 2 points. So the
Mike,
Bombers go ahead, 14-7.
he just barely was. That was, I mean, any inches shorter, and he wouldn't have been in there that time.
We'll be back in 30 seconds with Bomber football, 95.9 KYBE.
Charlotte's Grill across from the high
Along with, looks like Billy Gaines. And also number 15 over there, Jonathan Sims, back deep for the Lions as Ryan Ben is about to kick the ball off. Ball is spotted on the right hash as we look at it. He kicks the ball deep. Very good kick. Looks like it will go into the end zone, and it does in the end zone, through the end zone, and the Vernon Lions will have the ball 1st and 10 on the 20 as no time ticked off the clock as the ball was kicked and went through the end zone. Still 56 seconds left, and east, south, southeast type of thing. And Williams will be taking the snap at the 20, turns and throws on the screen pass back out to his left, and he's met by a host of Bombers, and looks like Shea Woodall is there to make the first hit, and he calls it a complete pass, and it will be 2nd and 5 as he negotiates from the 20 to the 25. Vernon Lions in a hurry-up offense, 2-minute drill as they throw out complete right at the first down marker. There is a flag on the play as the ball is complete right to the 30. Be just shy of a first down, but it looks like that maybe someone wasn't set or someone jumped off sides.
Yeah, Mike, good coverage then by the Bombers. Cheyenne Clark and Blake Bolton were right there waiting on him when he caught the ball.
And Williams can run your classic 2-minute drill, and that is a holding penalty against the Vernon Lions, and that will back him up 15 yards, no doubt. But the Vernon Lions have a very proficient passing attack as they have 30 seconds left in this half, and they are trailing 14-7. But I'll guarantee you they will not be afraid to throw, trying to stick to the sideline patterns, try to get the ball down and then step out of bounds. The Bombers do accept the penalty, Alan.
Mike close to the sideline.
Brings up a 2nd and 15. The ball will be resting right at the 15-yard line. There's a reverse play. There's a fumble on the play, and the Bombers have it. The Bombers have it as that was a reverse play, and as he came around, he fumbled the ball as he was running with it, and the ball is fumbled at the 15. And did you see who recovered that? Shea Woodall. Nothing's left in the half.
Mike, let me home. Everybody stayed exactly where they needed to be. Excellent, excellent defensive play.
Bombers have an opportunity to maybe get some extra points here as Gaston goes back to pass. Rolling out to his right, he's going to keep the ball. Goes around the right side, back to the 5. Let's see, mark it just short of the 5-yard line, and time will run out as that is the last play of the ball game. Excuse me, not of the ball game, but of the half, as Sidney was able, we'd like to call it right now, but I don't think they'll let us,
I'll tell you
Alan.
what, it'd be nice, but folks, don't you go away, because we've got another great half of football in store for you tonight.
We've got a barn burner here at the Frederick Bomber Bowl as Gaston on the last play of the half takes the ball close to the end zone, gets stopped about the 6 or 7 yards. We've got a great one, folks. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout for our sponsors who have been so great to sponsor this ball game. You're listening to 95.9 Bomber Football, Frederick, Oklahoma. Bomber Bow, as the Frederick High School Band is putting on the finishing touches on their halftime performance. The Bombardiers just doing a routine to a song over the PA system, and they're about to get in the Bomber War Hen formation as they form the
game up until this point. Bombers look like they're coming out on the field now, Mike. We're getting ready to start another half of great football here.
Again, the Vernon Lions have good size. They have good quickness. These two teams are very well matched. They look like a mirror of each other as two quarterbacks who can run, who can pass, backs in the backfield, both of who are dangerous for each of the teams. And the Frederick Bombers are coming on the field, led by Jimmy Strickland and the spirit of FHS.
You bet, Mike. I want to mention something here. If you'll notice, the little bomber airplane it looks quite a bit different this year than it did. Ella Birch, I don't know whether she wants me to mention this or not, Jim Strickland's sister, she paid for the paint and had her husband paint it, and we want to thank her from the quarterback club at this time for doing that. Even though she is kin to Jim Strickland, she's a pretty good girl.
And the spirit of FHS is that little bomber has been a lot of miles. I can remember when I was in high school. Of course, some people said they had wagons and horses in those days, but it's been around a while.
Mike, this is the Frederick Bombers' 20th anniversary this year. The last game of this season will be 20 years.
20 years that the spirit of FHS, a little bomber that Mr. Strickland drives.
No, they don't. It's pretty intimidating, Mike. It's kind of a unique deal. Not a lot of teams have anything like it, and it's quite a sight. It's pretty impressive to see that little red plane drive onto the field.
In fact, some places we go, they will not allow it on the field, and sometimes we parked it in the end zone and done all different types of things. But in Bomber Bowl, it runs and it flies high.
Yes, it does.
It's really a part of the pageantry that's here this evening as the bands are making their way back to the sidelines. We have the captains meeting in the middle. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the kickoff. You're listening to KYBE Frederick Football.
Hop and Sack is your one-stop convenience store located on East Gladstone here in Frederick.
Halftime, and had plenty of time for some of our excellent sponsors to get in their bid and their commercial. So we hope that you'll pay attention to the businesses who sponsored Frederick Bomber football and go by and thank them for their sponsorship, because that makes these games possible, as we could not do it without those fine sponsors, Al.
No, we sure couldn't, Mike. And once, just like Mike said, be sure and tell them how much you appreciate it, because it takes a little effort on their part to do the advertising they do, and we really appreciate it here at the radio.
Ball teed up in the center field. Gooch approaches the ball and sends a squabbly kick as it goes out of bounds, and don't believe it was touched. Yes, there is a flag on the play, as the Bombers will have the option to do a re-kick, or I believe that they also have the option to take it at the 35. On whatever they want to do. And they're talking right now to the Frederick captains. Looks like they still haven't decided. The referee trots out with the ball. Looks like they're probably going to take it on the 35-yard line on the right hash, as this side.
Bombers start this second half with excellent field position, Mike. Let's just see what they can do.
Simmons split to the left. Gaston remains at quarterback. Isham and Ben in the backfield. Handoff straight up the middle to Ben. And again, as we were saying during the halftime, the Bombers have not found a lot of running room in that middle, as the Vernon Lions have been tough, led in there this time by Luke Worrell.
Frederick giving up much in the middle of that line tonight.
Gaston barking the signals out as he looks around. Handoff again up the middle, and Isham squirts through, was stopped at the line of scrimmage for just a second, and then squirted through, getting to about a yard and a half, 2 yards shy of the first down. Had he been able to to keep his feet.
The hole closed, but he was just so quick getting there. He got through and picked up the yardage.
Be third down and about 2, we'll call it. Ball resting at the 43. Gaston hands off again, this time to Ryan Ben. He's going to be short as he needed to negotiate up to the 45-yard line, and he's going to be short there as the ball will be resting at about the 44 and a half, and that will bring up a choice for Coach Jones, as the wind would be in their face if they were to kick at this point.
You bet, Mike. The crowd's up. We're ready to go on 4th and short yardage.
Gaston takes the snap, hands off to Isham, and Isham fights straight ahead for 2 yards, and that will be good for the first down.
Mike, I tell you what, the offensive line did an excellent job there. They got down low. They did what they had to do to help him get through that hole and pick up that first down.
But not before or 3 yards, but not before he gained the first down. Ball resting on the 47-yard line. Just started the second half. Gaston pitches to Ryan Ben around the right side, and he's met immediately at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten one.
Tell you what,
John shaking his head like, no, it's...
Once again,
as we have just gotten underway, Bombers had the ball the entire third quarter at this point, leading 14-7. Gaston looking over the defense. Goes back to pass. Throws incomplete. Appeared there could be a pass interference, but that's not called. So it will go as an incomplete pass.
It looked awfully close. He cut his legs out of under him before the ball got to him, Mike. It was an awfully close play to being a penalty.
Bombers, as they first faced their third down situation, went on a fourth down just moments ago and got the first and 10. Clarence Allen in motion. Long setback is Isham. Gaston goes back, fakes a short, throws a long pass. Hilburn goes up, and it's incomplete as number 15, Jonathan Sims, really had the inside angle for the pass, but Hilburn was able to go up in a good offensive play. There is a penalty or a flag on the turf there. We're waiting to see what it is, and our statistician, John Stevens, with his eagle eye, says, believe it might be roughing the passer. We're waiting to read that, as a pass was incomplete. That would have brought up a fourth down. It is a personal foul. Roughing the passer against the Vernon Lions. That will back them up 15 yards. Again, the crucial penalty or the crucial turnover has plagued Vernon Lions, Alan.
Yes, it has, Mike. And back to the play before, Greg Hilburn did an excellent job. Sidney was under a lot of pressure then, threw the ball up. Greg Hilburn couldn't quite get to it, but he did go up and make sure the ball wasn't intercepted. That's a good play on Greg's part.
Ball resting at the 37-yard line with 8:55 left in this third quarter. Gaston getting ready to take the snap. Split backs behind him. Takes the fake up. Going on the option to the left. He has an open field. He's at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown on the option. 37 yards. Again, we went back to the Vernon Lions. We have told you how well they cover the pitch man. And Coach Jones has taken advantage of that as Sidney Gaston faked inside and an excellent fake to Isham, as they have to respect him, Alan. And he pulled the ball out, and he raced 37 yards down the left hash mark line there and scores. The Bombers go up 27 as they're about to attempt this extra point.
Mike, I'm going to tell you what, you just don't execute the option much better than you saw that one done right there. Sidney did a good job, faked the ball, went outside. The outside men went to the pitch man. Sidney kept the ball and was wide open all the way to the end zone.
Phillips on the snap. Carpenter will be holding. Kick snaps there. The kick's up, and we'll wait. As they say, it's good this time.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we're getting better, aren't we?
We're getting better at waiting on the officials and not calling it before we see what the officials are going to do. It looked good. It was good. And the Bombers take a 21-7 lead with 8:46 left to go in the third quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds with Frederick Bomber.
Our Jeans
Company and pick yourself up a pair of Wranglers. 115 North 8th Street in Frederick, Oklahoma.
Live at the Bomber Bowl, where the Bombers have just taken a 21-7 lead in 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Short kick. Bounces on the ground, taken by one of the short men for the Vernon Lions, and he's hit immediately by Kevin Isham. And also getting up off the pile, I believe, is number 31. I believe that Edel Ogden, one of the new Bombers.
You bet I tell you what, Mike.
And the quarterback is still Kyle Williams as he pitches out to Gaines. Gaines is met right at the 25. Ball comes out. The referees are saying that the ball was down, and they are correct. The whistle had sounded for the ball spurted out.
Mike, once again, Frederick's defense doing an excellent job coming across, shutting that sweep down.
7:54 left in the third quarter. Williams looking over the defense for the Vernon Lions. Long count as he goes, drops back, straight back to pass, throws to the right. It's incomplete. Looked like he wanted to go deep and check that off to number 80.
Right,
which I
Mike,
believe was a tight end, Doug Jeffrey, and 25. If the Bombers can hold here and then take some time off that clock, they could go a long ways toward winning this ball game. Fake draw, screen pass goes to Gaines out to the left side. He's hit on a very good play. As that will be close to the line of scrimmage. Looked like for a minute that it might be open, and all of a sudden the door closed. Looked like there are several Bombers in that area, and Cheyenne Clark possibly also on that. Very good defensive play by the Bombers as the Lions are forced to punt. Bad snap from center. Punter gets it up anyway and kicks it to Ryan Ben as he comes back to the right and will be tackled as he gives up some ground trying to maybe get outside, and is tackled back at around the 38-yard line in Bomber territory.
Right, Mike, there again, you saw the speed of the Vernon Lions. Ryan is a pretty...
Have signaled for a fair catch, but he went ahead, took the ball, and ran. So the Bombers will have it 1st and 10 at the, let's call it the 37-yard line. Gaston takes the snap, hands the ball off to Ben, and he is met on the line of scrimmage. Very tough running on that right side, Alan.
Mike, it is. The Vernon Lions defense is doing a good job shutting that inside run down.
And we'll call it 10 as there was really no gain on that whatsoever. Split backfield with Isham and Ben. Gaston taking the snap. Looks like there was a busted play as he tried to hand the ball off to, I believe that was, he was trying to hand it off to Kevin Isham, but Kevin Isham ran a little bit too far inside. Looked like they were trying to run the option. Bombers haven't had many miscues. That was one of those. We'll see if they can convert as they put double slot formation and one long setback, which is Isham there. Gaston goes back to pass and would have been a spectacular catch right at the first down mark, but Clarence Allen goes up and cannot hold on as he was right at the 47-yard line, and the ball is incomplete that the Bombers have punted. Ryan Ben will be back. Brandon Phillips doing the long snapping, and back deep will be number 23 for the Vernon Lions. Almost blocked as the ball goes off the right side of Ben's foot, and it's taken, and a tremendous hit on number 25 of the Vernon Lions as he returns it up to the 50 or about the 48, and that's Marcus Montez as
bounds in.
Good return, good tackle. Be a 4th down, and the Vernon Lions are in the Bomber territory as it's pitched back to Gaines. He's met on the sweep right at the 49, struggles forward to about the 47. We'll see where they spot his forward progress. And looks like they will move it back to the 48-yard line, and we'll give him a gain of 1, and that's it as the Clark, William Martin, Blake Bolton there to shut that off as Gaines had success on that sweep early in the ball game. Draw play back to Gaines as Cheyenne Clark gets him, loses him for just a second, and then a host of other Bombers are come behind him. Clay Johnson and 5'8", about 185, so he's built low to the ground and he's hard to get down. Williams goes back to pass, has an open man at the 30. He receives it and goes down to the 25-yard line. And that was number 44 for the Vernon Lions on that 18-yard pass play, Gerald Frank. And Frank is able to take that pass as he curls in at the 30 and gain 5 more yards, unless they spotted a 3-yard gain as he goes on down to the 20, we'll call it the 27-yard line. Kevin Isham down for the Bombers. This would be a severe blow to the Bomber offense and defense. I believe that he might have just had a cramp.
And fell down before the play even got to him. I don't know whether he just maybe twisted a little ankle or what he did, but he looks like he's up and all right.
That's spotted at about the 27-yard line in Bomber territory as the Vernon Lions are threatening here in the third quarter. Williams goes back to pass, throws across the middle, and it's incomplete as it was attempted for one of the, no, that's, I believe that's number 16 or 18, Chris Dunn, or it looks like that's 19. That ball was right there. He just couldn't hang on.
He got close, Mike.
Williams taking the snap, going back, throwing about the same pass play to the other side. It's a little bit wide and incomplete. Intended receiver was Gerald Frank, and Frank is not. Oh. Frank comes to this side this time. In motion is the fullback. Williams has time, but it closes down as he is sacked at the 30-yard line, and that's Mr. Shea Woodall,
You
I
bet.
believe.
That's, you saw a lot of that type of play out of Shea last year. Did an excellent job there at the defensive end. That's the kind of plays he's capable of, and he came up and made an excellent play then.
Loss of about Shea Woodall was there to bring him down. Be a 4th and 14, ball right this side of the 30-yard line as William goes back, throws it high, and it is complete to the about the 14-yard line, and that's going to be, looks like it's going to be good for a first down. They're looking at it.
Mike, you got to commend the Vernon receiver then for catching that ball. Greg Hilburn was right there on him, had him just as soon as he made contact with the ball, but he held on.
I believe there's a flag as we look across on the far side of the field. We'll wait to read what that is. That is a face mask against the Frederick Bombers. So if that's a dead ball situation, that will be half the distance to the goal. Bombers are leading 21-7, but the Vernon Lions are threatening as the clock stops 2:43, 2:42 on the face mask penalty. The Bombers go back, handoff to Gaines, and he goes off the right side on the power play on the first down play, and they'll give him 2, approximately 3. We're waiting to see where they spot that. Bring up had a very good defensive stand and had a penalty, or they would have held them earlier as they came down. Here's a handoff to Gaines, and he is knocked down just short of the goal line.
I believe that was Clarence Allen made the hit on him, Mike, right? Looks like about the 1 or maybe 2-yard line.
Allen, I thought he was, I thought the 1-yard line. Williams comes up. If the Bombers can hold here, this will be fantastic goal line stand. Handoff to Gaines, and he is at the 1-yard line. A flag is thrown, and it is a touchdown, or apparent touchdown. I believe the touchdown will count. And then there was a flag thrown after the touchdown, so we'll wait to read what that flag is. The referee said signals that it was a touchdown, and 8 to 10 seconds after the touchdown, there was a flag. I believe there's that unsportsmanlike conduct. against the Vernon Lions, and we'll see if that looks like that will be assessed against them on the extra point, and the touchdown will stand. And that's what the referee just tells us. Touchdown will stand, and so this extra point will be from the 25-yard line, spotted at the 25-yard line, be a 35-yard extra point rather than coming from the 3, and they say that he makes it. So soccer-style kicker where the ball, that is a 35-yard extra point.
Yes, it was. Excellent kick, Mike. Here with the 1:25 to go in the third quarter, the score 14-21. We've still got quite a ball game going on here.
You're listening to KYB 95.9. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
It's brilliant in Frederick, Oklahoma.
This game is everything that we promised you, as the Vernon Lions have come back, and it's the Bombers lead 21-14, but the Vernon Lions have come roaring back like they did last week against Altus, as Gooch kicks the ball, deep kick. It will be taken by Bolton at about his own 5, coming straight back up the middle, cuts to the outside, and his feet are taken out from under him at the 21-yard line. So the ball will be set there at the 21-yard line, and that's where the Bombers will put the ball game.
Mike, not any of the crowds left, though. Everybody's still here, sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what happens in this game.
They spot that at the 23 now. There's a handoff to Ryan Ben as he runs to the left side on a trap play, and it looks like give him a yard, possibly 2 yards, and it looks like they will give him 2 yards, bring up a 2nd and 8 as the ball be resting at the 25. Again, that middle is awfully tough for the...
In that 3, 4, 5 yards, they're just not able to do it tonight against Vernon's size.
30 seconds left in the third quarter. Bombers leading 21-14. 2nd and 8 as Gaston goes back to pass, throws incomplete at the 36-yard line. Ball intended down there for Hilburn. It is a little short and will fall incomplete. That stops the clock with 22 seconds in the third quarter, and will bring the crowd ever in the history of Frederick Bomber football witnessing this game this evening. 2 receivers to the left, tight end to the right. Gaston goes back under pressure from the defensive line, throws downfield, and it's incomplete, intended for Simmons. But in fairness to Sidney Gaston, he was running for his life, being chased in there by number 70 for Vernon. That's Royce Bauman, who's played an excellent defensive game, and waning seconds of the third quarter.
Mike, Vernon hasn't give up. They've stepped up their play. They're doing an excellent job here in trying to fight their way back into this ball game.
Ben gets a little bit better kick this time as it goes to the 50, right at the 49-yard line, and hits there and just dies. Not AstroTurf. We have very, very good grass here, and it kind of hit on that grass and died immediately.
What, when it hit the ground, it just stuck.
In his second half, they'll get a playoff here in the end of the third quarter. Back to pass is Williams. He's throwing deep. Hughes is there, and it's incomplete as Williams was trying to go for the entire amount of yardage at one time, but the John Hughes was there on the defense, and that will be the end of the third quarter. Bombers leading 21-14. You're listening to KYB 95.9. We'll take a minute timeout.
Low prices. Don't pass up the great savings at Frederick Auto Center.
I go and pick up my baby. She gets inside and she just slide over, honey, and let me drive.
Stop by, see Kevin, Michael, or Steve for all of your automobile needs. Frederick Auto Center, open until 4 o'clock on Saturday for your shopping convenience. Frederick Auto Center.
There's just been one pass play run, and it was good for a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 as Williams goes back to pass, standing at his own 45, throws deep, and it's incomplete at the 15-yard line, defended down there by Hughes. And Williams went back deep trying to throw that long pass, and he was in a timeout whenever they changed quarters, so we apologize for that. Brings up a 4th down and 7. Ryan Ben and Blake Bolton are back. Low snap. Kick is underway. It's a good kick. Fair catch called for as Bolton and Ben run together, but they managed to catch it between them, and the ball will drift down to about the 19-yard line, and that's where the Bombers will take it. And the Bombers need to take this ball, Allen, and move down, get some first downs, and at least get around to the 50 and be able to kick and take that field position back from the Vernon lines. Gaston still in at quarterback, split to the right, handoff to Kevin Isham up the middle as he slants over the right side, and that will be good for a short gain. Looks like by the time he gets through, it will be about a 4-yard gain. With Kevin Isham,
Quick, he runs hard. He just does a fine job running the ball.
and credit the offensive line also for moving that line of scrimmage back and allowing him to move behind them. Handoff to Kevin Isham up the middle, got some running room, but he's brought down at the 40-yard line as he burst up the middle, and the safety for the Vernon Lions got a hand on his foot and was able to bring him down just shy of the 40-yard line, and they're going to its feet with gas because they thought he was gone, but it's good enough for the first down, and the ball be resting at the 37-yard line. Gaston there, tight end to the right. Gaston hands off to Isham up the middle. Again, following Ryan Ben and the offensive right side, they go over the left guard, and Isham rambles for about 8 yards down to the 45-yard line. We're in a situation now that the Bombers haven't been able to move up the middle, and they
Job right at the moment of opening the hole for him there on the right side.
Gaston in at quarterback. Hands off to Isham up the middle, stopped at the line, then he surges forward, and he's going to be very close to the first down.
Mike, I believe he made the first down according to where the official spotted the ball.
That was a situation where he was stopped a yard short, and then he fought forward and actually gained about 3 yards, yard line, as the Bombers are still in Lions territory, but they're threatening to cross the 50. Split left, split right, backs, twin backs in the backfield. There's the option play. This time they have decided that they better defense Mr. Gaston, and he stopped for no gain on the option play.
Mike, I'll bet you they talked that over at halftime, and
May be big yardage if they let the pitch man go and concentrate on Sydney. But that will bring up a second down, and we'll call it 10. Ball still at the 49-yard line. There's a cross. It's a fumble on the play, and the Bombers will recover the ball, and they will actually gain about an additional 5 yards as Ryan Ben on the trap play slanted across the left and was hit after about a 5-yard gain and fumbled that ball forward for an additional 3 or 4 yards, and they're going to say it's just short as a heads-up play by one of the offensive linemen.
Mike, I'll tell you what, that ball shot out there like a rocket. It was heads-up play on Jake Carpenter, number 25's part, to have his eye on the ball and be there when he needed to.
Good hustle by Jake Carpenter to pick that ball up. It will be third, and let's call it 1 as Gaston gets ready to hands off to Isham up the middle, and he is going to be, we won't call it too soon because some of these spots have been a little bit different from the way we've seen them, but they're going to look at it. It appears that he would have the first down, but I believe that they're going to measure. The crowd on the home side is saying that they have no doubt in their mind there's no need to measure.
Why they don't, Mike? They just look up here and ask me. I'd tell them it's a first down.
It certainly appears that it's a first down, and if it turns out to be short, then you can tell Alan Gant that he was wrong, but I think he's going to be right, folks, as they begin to stretch the change. The Bombers are trying to go up the middle and having good success at this point. It is a first down. Eagle Eyes Alan Gant and John Sturman, the Bombers needed to get some first downs, and they have done exactly that as they've moved the ball to the 41-yard line in Lion territory. Hand off to Kevin Isham, and I don't know if you noticed at that time, Alan, but the defensive linebackers are trying to crowd the line of scrimmage now and shut that running game down.
Right, Mike. We're getting some good penetration off the offensive line.
Even though our statistician just said 3, but I'd already said 4, right? So we'll call it 7, or 2nd and 6, or short 7. Ball resting at the 37-yard line. There's the option play. There's the pitch. There's a fumble on the play, and the Vernon Lions will recover. At 7:09 left in the fourth quarter, there was a pitch play we were talking about, and the ball was pitched back, but it was in traffic, and Ryan Ben was not able to hang on to the ball, and the Vernon Lions were able to recover as the ball just kind of laid out there for a couple of seconds, but
exactly what they had to do in defending that option then.
We'll see if the Lions can come back and try to march this thing in as they hand off the gainer on the draw, and he goes absolutely nowhere as he's met by 51 Clay Johnson in there, Allen, and also Chad Stone.
Number 63, William Martin, came up, was right in the middle of that.
At the 39. Williams coming up to take the snap. In motion goes Spanner, fake the draw. Gaines is going deep, down, has a man open at the 30-yard line, and it's knocked away by John Hughes right at the last second.
Excellent, excellent defense on that play by John Hughes. That's just the way the coaches teach it in practice, Mike. Get up in the air, bat the ball down. That's just exactly.
And it's third down and 11 instead of a long gain. Split backfield as Williams goes back, throws a dart across the middle, almost intercepted by Hughes. Blake Bolton there also on defense, as it was intended for Brandon Favors at the 50-yard line, right at the yard marker, and that will do something, but it appears that they're going to try to punt.
Mike, once again, excellent defense by the Frederick Bombers.
Looks at that, that's number 31, Krishnick, back. Short kick. Bombers need to get away from it, and it goes to the 38-yard line as it was fielded by Bolton, as it nearly hit one of the Bombers in the back as it came down. But the Bombers will have excellent field position on their own 39 down, and that will bring up a 1st and 10. In the background, you hear game balls being given away, barbecue dinners. Ever get a chance, come out to the ball game. It's a heck of a time here as Isham takes the ball over the left side and fights straight forward over left tackle, and giving 4 to 5 yards as he struggles straight ahead as the Bombers have gone again to their forward run time off the clock. William Martin, Chad Stone doing an excellent job for the Bombers. Looks like there's an equipment problem right now as take these defensive linemen and begin to move them back somewhat as the ground game has done much better here in the fourth quarter and end of the third quarter. Fumble on the play. We'll see. And the referee has not given a signal, and it appears that there is a fumble, and he is going to award it to the Vernon Lions.
I'll tell you what, Mike, it looked to me like that boy dove right in the top of that pile, dug down in there, and just took the ball away from somebody. But the referees say the ball turns over to Vernon.
There was a lot of indecision by the referees. It appeared they didn't know what to call as there was
the top of the pile recovered the fumble.
But it's the Vernon Lions ball at the Frederick Bombers 48 as Williams goes back to pass on the screen to Gaines, and looks like there may be a holding or a face mask. We'll wait to call that as that was a screen play broken up by Clay Johnson, and he got back just to the line of scrimmage. We'll read the penalty. It appears that it was going to be a clip against the Vernon Lions, and it will set them back as the play was good for no gain. It appeared that the Lions have means that they can score anytime. Remind me a lot of the championship game with Seminole and the attack that they have. They had that same type of quarterback and offense. And the Vernon Lions here with 4:06, trading 21 to 14. It's first down and about 25 on the option play. to number 44, running around the left side. That's Gerald Frank, and he gets positive yards. Looks like about 6-yard gain, 5-yard gain to the 40. We'll call it the 46-yard line as they put it down. And 20, as we look at the scoreboard says 2nd and 20. Williams takes the ball, goes back, fakes the draw, ball batted straight up in the air. It will be incomplete, as the Bombers were able to get through, and number 67 for the
Brandon Phillips, Mike.
For the Bombers,
got the
Brandon
hand on the
Phillips
ball.
playing some defense in there, and the Vernon Lions must get all the way down to their 38 in Bomber territory. Williams goes back again. He's under pressure and hit. It's complete to Franks at the 40. He's got some running room at the 35, at the 30, or at the 20, excuse me, and he's knocked down about the 18-yard line. That's exactly what could not happen, as Williams was hit as he threw the ball, but he was able to complete the pass to Franks, and Franks did at the 18-yard line. Well, what a difference a half second makes. That would have been a sack. Williams goes back looking for the end zone, got a man wide open, and he drops the ball. And throws his helmet down in disgust. That's Brandon Favors, number 19, as he broke for the corner of the end zone. The pass was there. He was wide open, and he dropped the ball. And
team, they know how to win. They're not going to give up.
Bombers need an interception or a fumble or some type of turnover. There's a sweep to Gaines going around the left side, and he's met after a gain of 3 or 4 by several of the Bombers. Blake Bolton, I see, getting up. Kevin Isham, several of the other Bombers there. As we read those 12-yard line, Allen.
That's about where it's at, Mike.
Ball on the far side hash, opposite the press booth, or the press box where we are. There's a reverse to Franks, and he is upended near the line of scrimmage, Blake, by Cheyenne Clark. Cheyenne Clark stayed home, and on the reverse was able to upend Franks after about we'll call it, they give him about a foot.
Tell you what, Cheyenne did lay a lick on him then, Mike.
And we'll still call it about the 12, possibly between 11 and 12, and it's 4th down. And they're going to take a timeout. We're going to keep the ball game. If they convert here, they could run some more time off. But if the Bombers can hold here, they can go a long ways toward putting this game away. There goes man in motion as Williams comes to his right. He throws toward the end zone, and it's complete for the touchdown. Williams did a very good job rolling to his right under extreme pressure, and he threw the ball. Looks like that was Gaines, who came out of the backfield, curled right at the end zone and caught it right at the pylon in front of the defensive back. And we have a 21-20 game. Bombers leading by 1 point, and the Vernon Lions will take a timeout as they decide whether to go for 1 or whether to go for 2 with 1:38 left in the ball game. Again,
I look for them to go for 2 here. I don't think they came across the river too tight, and I'm just going to bet you they're going to go for 2.
Well, as we say that, the kicker comes on.
They are going to tee the ball up.
And we'll see if this is a fake or they're really going to kick it. There's a snap. The kick's up, and it's blocked. The kick is up, and it's blocked by the Frederick Bombers as the Vernon Lions decided to go for the tie rather than the win and possibly go into overtime. And the snap was good. The kick looked low, and it was blocked.
Mike, I'm going to tell you something. High school football doesn't get any better than this.
I can tell you what, I'll be real surprised, and of course we were just surprised that they tried to kick rather than going for 2. But I think you'll probably see an onside kick here. And if the Bombers can run 1 minute and 38 seconds off this clock and receive this kick, of course, is the first thing they have to do. But tremendous play as they block the extra point. And again, Tina, we're going to this will probably be an onside kick as the Bombers are still leading 21-20 with 1:38 left in the ball game. What a barn burner this has been. What a game. I hope you've enjoyed it on KYBE as we've tried to bring it to you. The Bombers have 10 men between the 40 and the 50. The ball has to go 10 yards before the Vernon Lions can recover it. The Bombers need to hang on to this ball right here, Alan.
Yes, they do, Mike. This is a critical play right here for the Frederick Bombers.
Gooch comes as he kicks the onside kick, and it's taken at the 50-yard line by the Bombers, and that sure hands was Blake Bolton, number 3, as he took it right on the 50-yard line. And the Bombers need to run off 1 minute, 37 seconds and not give up a fumble or a turnover.
Tell you what, Mike, you look over on...
Heat squirmer for both sides, and tell you what, people haven't gone to the concession stand much.
No, they haven't. It's been an excellent ball game all the way.
Gaston there looking over the defense, 118, 117, hands off to Isham. Now Isham runs straight ahead. He has 2 hands on the ball as he runs and gains 1 yard, but more critical than that is he's able to run some time off the clock. And according to our statistician, that should be Vernon's last time out with 107 football, and they have seen a lot of good football tonight with 107 left in the fourth quarter. Bombers trying to hang on. And the Vernon Lions, as our statistician and John Stevens pointing out, if they go on to lose this ball game, will have 2 tough losses 2 weeks in a row. Last week falling 30-29 to Altus. Gaston takes a snap. He fumbles the snap, and he gets back on it as one of the Bombers was moving in the backfield. Boy, that would be absolute disaster at this point, Alan.
I'm telling you, Mike, we couldn't stand that at all right now. I believe somebody was a little confused there on the play. Looked like the ball might have been snapped just a little quick.
I thought there might have been movement in the backfield, but I believe that the ball was snapped as the back moved and everyone else was standing still. So I don't think Sidney was ready. The Bombers will need to pay attention here. They need to get this snap and run 30 seconds off the clock here with 3rd down and 9 as Gaston is looking over the defense. Takes a snap, hands off to Ben. Ben struggles forward. I'm surprised that Gaston didn't try to just fall down on the ball. 13 seconds, 12, 11. Don't believe that they can get another play off as both teams are running on the field. 3, 2, 1, 0. There you have it. The Frederick Bombers post a 1-point win over the Vernon Lions in an excellently played ball game between these two very, very fine football teams. This is not the state championship, but it proves that Frederick has a fine team, Vernon has a fine team, and both of these teams are going to go on and win a lot of football games this
Mike,
year.
there should be a lot of good things ahead for both these teams. Just like we talked earlier, they're both quality teams. This game's just kind of a preseason matchup. Doesn't mean a lot to either team other than the pride of winning the game, but there sure are a lot of good things ahead for both these football teams, I do believe.
It doesn't mean a lot in the stats, but it means a lot as far as pride goes. Once again, the Frederick Bombers have taken a 21-20 win over a very, very tough Vernon Lions team, and a heartbreaker for the Lions as they've lost 2 games by 1 point and played excellent in both ball games. But you've been listening to KYBE 95.9. Bomber football will be back in 2 minutes.
Attention farmers, fall is here and it's time to make preparations. 335-2104 here in Frederick.
Enroll now for fall classes at the Great Plains area Voltech Tillman Kawa campus on September 24th.
Thing and a special appearance by Pearl Jam. But first, let's go to Ron Stevens Stadium in Lawton to hook up with my partner and personal manager for the past 25 years, Michael Parker, hey, bring us up to speed on the Eisenhower-MacArthur game from the other night. Coming in, looked like one of those classic we've got something to prove deals on both sides of the field.
Well, Dave, as far as MacArthur goes, they really felt like they had something to prove coming out of their Week 1 loss to Anadarko, but even more so on the Eisenhower side. Their Week 1 loss to Lawton High knocked them out of that national ranking scene, so both teams really came into Friday night looking to regain some respect.
Week 2, Eisenhower versus MacArthur. The Eagles versus the Highlanders. Last week, Ike was upset by their other crosstown rival, Lawton High. Friday night was a different story. With the score 3-0 Eisenhower, Spencer Braggs comes right at you. A 45-yard run, taking the ball down to the 2. That set up John Michael Brown's journey into the end zone for the 10-0 lead. That's when Kevin Lemon took over for Ike. He blocked a punt and recovered it in the end zone just before the half. And then Mack's first possession in the second half, the pick, the moves, the touchdown. 49 yards into the end zone for a 24-0 Eisenhower lead. Very next possession. The very next play, Brett Manning keeps it, but fumble! Mr. Lemon, have a day. He recovers and goes 19 yards in for the score, his third touchdown of the night. Spencer Braggs added his second TD of the night with this 47-yard scamper to put it away. Eisenhower storms back in Week 2 over MacArthur, 37-0.
I was thinking mainly just to make ourselves better and compete and start playing the Ike way to get it right and hopefully to make the rest of the season come along for us.
We just wanted to come out here and show that we do have a good team. You know, we wanted the respect that we deserve. You know, we just had to come out here and play hard. We had a good week of practice, and we just had to show it on the field.
Standing by live with me is Eisenhower head coach Chris Stiles. And Coach Stiles, first things first, what's the condition of your running back, A.J. Walker, after he went down with an injury?
Well, we're not really sure right now. He's got to get an MRI done tomorrow and get some x-rays done, so we'll know a little bit more about this time tomorrow evening on A.J.
A lot of people thought this Eisenhower team was going to be a powerhouse offensively. Only one touchdown in the first game against Lawton High, less than 200 yards against a somewhat mediocre MacArthur defense. Is that a concern for you, or are you okay with your defense scoring all the touchdowns for you guys?
Well, defensive kicking game is going to win us a lot of football games, and sure, we're concerned offensively. You know, we haven't been as productive as we thought we would be, but hey, you know, it just takes some time. You know, we run the option, and it takes time to get some kinks worked out there, and I think we're going to have an outstanding offensive football team before the season's over.
You guys seem to be running the ball a lot. Now that A.J. Walker might be out for the remainder of the season, are you guys going to look to the pass, or are you going to stick with the run that's been pretty successful?
Well, we got to do the things we know how to do. You know, that's run the option, run the fullback, you know, have a good tailback game, just try and have a little balance between our quarterback or fullback or tailback, and maybe throw some play-action passes. I mean, that's what we do. That's Eisenhower way, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Now, this week you guys are on the road against the Altus Bulldogs, and sometimes they can use 5 different running backs in a game in the wishbone. What's your strategy to keep them under check?
Well, obviously, our defensive line is going to have to play an outstanding game. I thought they did play outstanding against MacArthur. Adrian Cole, Derek Newton, Matt Watson, you know, Kevin Daniels. Those kids really played an outstanding game, really controlled the line of scrimmage, and they're going to have to do the same for us to have a chance to win in Altus.
What are the things you guys are going to address this week in practice to prepare for the game?
Well, obviously, the wishbone offense is a big concern. They're a big physical football team. They're an outstanding football team. The Lawton High score is a little bit deceiving because it was a close football game. It was, you know, basically tied up midway through the fourth quarter. So they're an outstanding team. We know that's going to be a dogfight to go over there and try and win it out. We've been through that before. So it's just we got to get better. If we improve this week, we improve our performance, then I think we have a chance to win. If we don't, then we'll be pretty sad Friday night.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck on Friday night against the Bulldogs. And, Dave, you know, Eisenhower and Altus, that should be a great game down in Altus on Friday night. Dave, take it away.
All right, Michael, thanks a lot. We will try to keep posted on the Eagles and Bulldogs coming Friday night and hopefully have more of it on Gridiron 7. Thanks a lot to Coach Stiles for joining us tonight on the show. Also, as Coach Stiles had mentioned, another big win for the Lawton High Wolverines. They played at Altus, won the game 21-7, and the Wolverines get the Highlanders this Friday night, and that'll finish up pre-district play for both of those teams. One other note about the Wolverines, longtime high school football writer Ray Soldan is going through the history of the sport in Oklahoma decade by decade, and for the state's first 10 years, 1900 to 1909, he picked the 1909 Lawton High Wolverines as a co-team of the decade. That team went unbeaten in 11 games, outscoring its opponents 221 8-6. And one of the halfbacks on that team was Ron Stevens. Another city championship for the Rider Raiders as Gridiron 7 rumbles on.
Come to Glass RV Center in Chickasha and see the fantastic year-end closeout on all new 1994 models, including Carry Light, Callista Motorhomes, and the luxurious Carriage recreational vehicles. Everything on our lot is marked down for incredible savings. We also have new 1995 Carriage products arriving daily. Don't miss this opportunity to save on new Carry Light, Callista Motorhome, or Carriage recreational vehicles. We're moving them out, so come get yours today at Glass RV Center, 5 miles south of Chickasha on Highway 81.
Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started.
Fan, following the game, stay tuned for Action 7 News with James Stratton and Mike Reeder right here on KSWO TV 7, Texoma's #1 news source.
All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. That's right.
The mid-size Dodge Dakota Sport V6 gives you a bigger bed than Ford Ranger or Chevy S10. It gives you a Magnum engine with more horsepower than their base V6s, the safety of available 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a standard driver's airbag, something Ranger and S10 don't even offer. So really, the only thing compact about Dakota is the price. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Welcome back to the show. Same song, next verse at Ryder. Another sweep of their city rivals in Wichita Falls. They followed up their 50-7 win over Old High with another lopsided win over Hershey. Total domination for the Raiders. And when the clock finally ran out at Memorial Stadium, the Raiders had won their 7th straight city championship, and Rider coach Wayne LeBlue's record against city rivals was still perfect.
The Raiders scored in each quarter except the first, and they fumbled away a chance to strike early, losing the ball deep in Hershey territory on their first drive. But once again, the Raider defense held their own with Rider's high-powered offense. The Huskies passed the 50 only twice, and Rider held Hershey to just 9 first downs. The Raiders broke on top when Kevin Wagner scored from a yard out in the second, and that would be enough on this night. An interception set up another score just before halftime, and this time, the Raiders got some luck. Mark Ransom got popped, but the ball tumbled into the end zone where Manny Lopez covered it for Rider's second score and a 14-0 lead at halftime. They blew it open with 21 points in the third. They won at 42-0, and the Raiders will continue their season-opening homestand Friday against another 4A school when they host Burke Burnett. The Old High Coyotes broke through with the win in Amarillo. They beat the Caprock Longhorns 15-3 and rolled up over 300 yards of total offense in the process. The defense picked up 6 turnovers, 4 by interception, and 2 fumble recoveries. The Coyotes' 2 touchdowns came on the ground. Torrey Buckner scored from 3 yards out in the second quarter. Then in the third, Steve Wolf found the end zone from 19 yards away. A late field goal was all the homestanding Horns could manage, and the Coyotes square their season at 1. Next up, they go to Vernon. And speaking of Vernon, this Southwest Oklahoma tour of the Lions took them to Frederick, and this one went down to the wire. An overflow crowd at the Bomber Bowl watched Kevin Isham score on a 25-yard first quarter run, and just like that, the Bombers led it 6-0 when the point after try sailed wide. The Lions answered with a big drive of their own, and Terrence Gaines capped it from 2 yards out. Their PAT was true, and Vernon led 7-6. To the second quarter, and it's quarterback Sidney Gaston going up top, and this time he hits Ryan Ben out of the backfield for 23 yards, all the way to the 11-yard line. And on the next play, Gaston scored on a keeper around left end. Gaston passed for the 2-pointer, and Frederick led it 14-7 at halftime.
Our quarterback, Sidney Gaston, a young kid coming in this year, was a JV quarterback last year, read the veer outstandingly in the first half, and we were just pleased at those points.
I know that the change from JV to varsity a lot is the speed. It's the same offense, the same type of techniques and stuff that we run. It's just a lot faster, hits a lot faster, and we usually see a lot of tougher teams. The front line is a lot bigger and tougher, but it hits a lot quicker, and so you got to be on your toes.
on, struck again early in the third. Again on the keeper. This time it works for 37 yards and a score. It's 21-7 Bombers. Game's in the bag. Wrong. Vernon has a rally left. Kyle Williams guided a 10-play, 49-yard drive in the third, hitting Brandon Favors over the middle for 17. Billy Gaines found the stripe on 3rd and goal, and it was 21-14. To the 4th we go. Vernon's ball, 3rd and 15. Clock running out, and Williams finds Gerald Frank. Gets around the corner with blockers, and he has 39 yards inside the 20-yard line. 3 plays past, and it's 4th and 4, and Williams looks for Billy Gaines. Touchdown, 21-20. Vernon trails by 1. Now time for the all-important PAT. Back, down, blocked by Greg Hilburn. That seals it. Bombers recover the onside kick, run out the clock, win the game by 1. Coach Jones thanks the Frederick faithful.
Frederick fans are the best that anybody could ask for. This stadium that we play in here, they kind of call it the pit, and it's a great place to play. I had never seen a football stadium that the football kids get pumped up so much when they enter these walls. It's like they have the spirit from the last 30 years of players with them and helping them.
And a couple of the players who are being helped by those Angels. Joining us now in the studio, Clay Johnson, offensive guard, and also plays linebacker, and Kevin Isham. We saw him in action scoring a touchdown, running back for the Frederick Bombers. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about that game. As you were watching the tape there, you still kind of got a little nervous as they came back down the field. Got a great lead in that game, up 14 points. I guess you knew that Vernon still had the talent to come back, but until they start doing it, it doesn't really sink in. What were you thinking about on that last drive in the 4th quarter as they were going for that time score?
Well, throughout the whole game, they'd been pretty strong throughout the whole game. You know, they hadn't been really. I mean, they're all together they were pretty strong, but coming into the 4th quarter, we're just kind of looking to stop them. I mean, they're driving down deep on us, and it got down to 4th down, and they had just lofted one up and caught it in the end zone, and then we just came out and blocked that point after, and just got real lucky on that.
They busted a big play there, Kevin, on that pass play on the crossing route, and then they scored on 4th down. Was there ever a sense that, well, if this thing does get tied, that we've still got a minute and a half, that we can come all the way back maybe and get in a position and still win the game, even if they do tie?
Yes, I had a lot of confidence in the offense, knowing that we had the talent to come back and win, even if we did have gone to overtime. But I'd rather not go in overtime.
Coach Jones had talked about coming into the season about how excited he was to have you in the backfield, and also Ryan Ben, who had a great season last year. But you lost the quarterback last year that really helped make things go, and now you bring in a guy, Sidney Gaston, whose only experience is running JV. Were you a little nervous about him, and how long has it taken for him to really kind of get the groove of things? Looks like he had a great game against Vernon.
Yes, Sidney, he's a good hard worker, and after the Clinton game, I had confidence in him then.
Have you guys along the offensive line been able to help him out a little bit, or does he come into the huddle pretty confident? Because sometimes I've known there's guys that have come in and maybe they're calling a play that's not in the book, or it's something they're used to running in JV that maybe you guys run a little different. Have you had any of those problems, or has he been able to take charge of the huddle pretty well?
Not really. At first, I was kind of, since he was JV last year, I was wondering if he could get the confidence to really get out there and play for us and get that starting position. But through the Clinton game, through every play, he'd get better. And through this Vernon game, it really showed. He really showed what he could do. And his offensive line just did a great job for him and pass blocking and stuff for him, and that just allowed him to open up a lot of good passes.
Kevin, I know last year is last year, but what a year. Win the state championship, 13-1. What a fabulous way to cap things off. But do you still think about that, or do you like it so much that the whole focus this year is let's do it one more time?
Yes, I think about it a lot, and I just hope we can do it again.
All right, you guys have Elk City coming up this week, another big long road trip. It's basically, I guess, the same road trip that you took to Clinton. I mean, it's about that. What do you know about those guys? What are you going to have to do to pull that off?
Well, I haven't watched any film on them yet, but we're getting ready for them. We're putting in a few new plays and just kind of polishing on stuff. And I know it's their homecoming, though, so we're going to be pumped for that.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Clay Johnson, Kevin Isham of the Frederick Bombers, and if you keep up with Frederick throughout the rest of the year, I'm sure you're going to be hearing these guys' names mentioned throughout. Good luck to you, and hope we'll see you guys in the title game again at the end of the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we are going to take a short break, and we come back. We're going to check in on Marlowe and Altus, so you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Okay, this time let's do it with love, passion, and action.
I don't know what knobhead came up with the title of our show as The News, but trust me, it's got nothing to do with the news. It is, however, late-night comedy. It's what's known in the biz as alternative programming. Hey, The News. New this fall.
The News. Premieres Monday, September the 12th at 12:30 a.m.
That's a keeper.
After 25 years as a New York cop, Lieutenant Patrick Brogan thought he saw it all until he got to Demeter City.
There's nothing normal.
And joined their police force.
Got a job to do. Protect and serve.
Now, the face of crime's gotten a whole lot uglier. Ted Shackelford stars.
Blow the bolts. I'm coming in.
As crime in the streets takes to the sky this fall on Space Precinct. Premieres Saturday, October the 8th at 11 p.m.
The Action 7 anchor team knows what's important to the people of this area. This is our home. We live here. I guess what I like best about the Southwest Oklahoma community is the people. I didn't grow up here, but I've lived here for over 20 years, and it's my home. It's important that people know that I'm a living, breathing human being just like they are. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I have the same fears, the same concerns that they have. That's why it's important for me to get the facts, because I want to know the facts as well as everybody else.
Jan Stratton of the Action 7 News team, where Texoma turns for news.
Welcome back to the big show. You know, the Marlowe Outlaws are supposed to be in another rebuilding year, but nobody's told the team. They started out with a win at Class 4A Chickasha, romped over Lindsay this past Friday night, and the Outlaws have youth in their backfield and bulk up front. Real bulk, real big, huge. Here's Michael Parker.
2 years ago, the Marlowe Outlaws found themselves in the state title game, where they lost to Newcastle. Last year, Coach Ron Newby's dream of returning went away after an 8-4 season. This year proves to be somewhat of a rebuilding year.
Well, you're right. We lost a lot of people. We only have 3 returning starters on offense, 3 on defense. You know, we got a lot of holes to fill, but we've got a real good class, juniors, some good skilled people in our senior class, so we think we're going to be all right.
The rebuilding process will revolve around a massive offensive line, led by 6'1", 277-pound junior Jimmy Copeland and 6'1", 253-pounder Mike Kahn.
We'd like to think that our offensive line is always the key to our offense. Yeah, we got a big old tackle, left tackle named Jimmy Copeland, 290 pounds, a junior. I think he's got a chance to be the best offensive lineman Marlowe's ever had. And at the left guard, we got another junior, Joe Lang, 220 pounds. He's going to be a great football player. But overall, I think that our line has to be our strength.
Also on the line, Chad Tiny Smith, 257 pounds, John Lamons, 251 pounds, Kevin Brown, 277 pounds, and Ryan Maddox, a 300-pounder. Oh, and don't forget about the most improved lineman, 220-pounder Joe Lang. The players around the line feel that they are the ones that hold the key to success.
Yeah, I feel like they are. If they block, then our backs can do the job, but it's all got to start at the line, and if they work hard at it, I think they can do it.
It's a young Outlaw team, but a team that certainly makes the grade with Coach Newby.
We've got a ways to go. We're still young, still making, you know, sophomore and junior mistakes, but those kids are working hard, real proud of them.
In Marlowe, Michael Parker, Gridiron 7.
Now, the Outlaws get another tough test this week when they go to Hobart. The Bearcats are ranked number 2 in the state in Class 2A, and they went to Class 4A Power Clinton last Friday night and won. Coach Jerry Holm has another state title contender in Hobart, it appears. Now, earlier, you may have heard Eisenhower coach Chris Stiles talk about their game with Altus this week. Altus 1-1, and they're talking about making a run in the playoffs because they finally bumped back down from the state's largest class to Class 5A. And once again, here's Michael Parker.
The Altus Bulldogs have a lot to look forward to, even after finishing last season with a 2-8 record. They've moved from Class 6A down to 5A and will be facing teams they're more evenly matched up with.
We feel like playing the Duncans, the Ardmore, the Lawton MacArthurs, the Chickasha. We're going to be playing schools now that basically have the same number of kids out, and all we do is want to play on a level table with everyone.
Moving from Class 6A down to 5A, coupled with the coaching staff's experience, those might be the ingredients for a very promising season for the Bulldogs.
For the first 2 years, I heard all the excuses about why we weren't going to win being in 6A, not having the kids, but I thought our kids fought hard both years. And now we've got a group of seniors that have been with me now for 2 years. Their leadership is going to provide the things that we think that can lead this football team to some good things.
David Bennett, who rushed for 534 yards and a touchdown last season, will see action along with 5 others in the backfield, behind an offensive line that lost 5 starters a year ago. Also gone is 3-year starter at quarterback Jason Thomas, who will be replaced by converted receiver Shelton Douglas. Defensively, the team is led by nose guard Jabri Williams, who Coach Holloway described as, quote, the team's coach on the field.
I think our running game is tough, and our defense, you know, is the hit squad, and, you know, I think we're going to stay aggressive on the front line, and linebackers do great, and we're just all around great.
Experience, familiarity, and a new schedule will certainly help the Bulldogs regain the prominence they once had.
Now, the Bulldogs will open district play a week from Friday at home against Chickasha. They'll come to Cameron Stadium in October to play MacArthur, and then they'll finish district play the first Friday in November at Duncan. This week's Football 101 primer deals with the screen pass, and Michael Parker and I will pick winners in this week's top games. A reminder that these games are selected by our co-workers at our secret Gridiron 7 Center in Sterling, Oklahoma. Check out their handiwork after you check out this.
In 1954, my father started Edwards Menswear with the philosophy of giving exceptional service and quality to our customer. This is a tradition that we have maintained for over 4 decades. To stay ahead in our industry, we find that going to the East and the West Coast markets help us look for the latest styles for our younger customers, as well as the traditional look for the Edwards man.
You know, when the weather turns cool, it's time to start thinking about old man winter. You winterize your car, have your chimney clean, make sure all your water pipes are insulated, and have your gas furnace inspected. Yearly inspections will keep your furnace operating efficiently, safely, and prevent unwanted emissions. Now's the time to check it out. For more information on gas furnace inspections, call your local heating and air conditioning dealer. Brought to you by your natural gas company.
Hitting the home stretch here in our weekly feature, Football 101 helps you understand basic football terminology and plays. This week, Marlowe's offensive coordinator, Ken Lane, explains the screen pass.
Here at Marlowe, as the offensive coordinator, one of the situations that we would look for before we decided to put a screen pass into our offensive play system would be a real strong rush in passing situations from the defensive end and the defensive tackle. If we scout an opponent and see that taking place, we would put in a screen pass. What we would probably do is fake to the fullback in our I slot set and roll away from the tight end, which is back to the strong side. We would lead our tailback out to be a lead blocker. We would have our tight end release inside the defensive end and run a post pattern to pull the free safety to the inside, also pull the corner back to the deep third. At that point in time, our tackle and our backside guard would block 2 counts, 1,001, 1,002, and at that particular time, they would release downfield. Because the pass is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, they can be beyond the line of scrimmage when the pass is made. After our fullback fakes and the rush passes, he will just drop right behind those 2 rushers. The quarterback then, after working on our timing, would set up, pass it back across the rushers' heads to the fullback, who would in turn try to get to the boundary to the outside of the 2 contained blocks of the tackle and guard. And that would be an exceptional screen pass for very hard rushing defensive end and tackle.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Now time to bring Michael Parker back in. Time to check out this week's games. We do want to remind folks of what happened last week. Dave's off to a 4-1 start, and Parker, unfortunately, 3-2. So let's get right to it as Parker tries to make up ground. First game is Eisenhower versus Altus, and I like Ike.
Yeah, Dave, I know you like Ike, but I'm going to have to go with Altus. You know, I stuck with them week 1. They came out with a victory. Last week they got beat by a very impressive Lawton High team. I'm going to go with them again this week. I pick Altus.
All right, we'll see how that turns out. Old High taking on Vernon. The Coyotes, after a big win, going to Vernon, and the Lions are kind of smarting after those 2 losses. I got to think they're going to win after they come back home finally.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you, Dave. You know, home field advantage seems to be a big thing here throughout the high school team, so I'm going to have to take Vernon their first home game of the year.
We mentioned the intersectional rivalry between Hobart and Marlowe. Hobart's the smaller school, but they're playing at home. They've already beaten a bigger school. I like the Cats, and we'll see how that turns out.
Well, as you saw throughout the show, I've been doing all the work, and I went up to Marlowe earlier this week. They got a massive offensive line, Dave, as you saw in that story, so I'm going to have to go with Marlowe and use their size.
You don't think it's hard work to sit in this chair, pal? Holiday taking on Bowie, and I like Holiday.
I like Bowie.
All right, and then the Monday night game, Chicago against Philadelphia. I don't know, I kind of like the way the Bears looked.
Well, I like the way the Bears look too, but I got crushed in the pool yesterday, so hopefully they can bring me out to make it even at 7-7 on the weekend.
You know, the authorities are listening. How much money did you lose in that pool? Those things are illegal.
Like 50 cents, I think it was. I think I lost to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
That's
exactly
it.
Right. All right, you'll see if you can gain any ground. Good job out there tonight. Hey, you like the weather I gave you?
Well,
no rain.
This is nice here, Dave, and let me give you an update. Right now, it's 7-0 Eisenhower. This is the JV game. They just began the second half, so Eisenhower up 7-0 over MacArthur in their JV game. And, you know, we bring you all the scores because that's our job, and that's what we do.
All right, Michael, thanks a lot, and we will see you next week. And thank you for spending some time with us. Help us spread the word about the show, and we'll see you next time.
And you will...
his feet. Calling the tight end, comes back.